Hey guys, Joe Smith here. Joe Smith has a couple friends, heroes, supporters that contributed to Joe Smith, gave donations or gifts or items. Joe Smith's already mentioned a couple of them, but wanted to mention them some more because they're just been such good friends and so fantastic, Joe Smith. But this video's a little bit off topic, a little bit political, a little bit of a rant. So because of that, Joe Smith's going to wait till a future tool video or 2A video or something, or showing off another Joe Smith gun video to mention those supporters, because Joe Smith don't want those supporters' names being affiliated with political opinion rant video or whatever that Joe Smith does, because they're all super nice people and they may or may not share the same opinions of Joe Smith. And so Joe Smith will definitely shout them out some more in future videos, so people that have helped Joe Smith out in the past, don't worry, Joe Smith hasn't forgot you. Joe Smith still planning to shout you out some more in the future videos, but Joe Smith just didn't think the content of this video might be appropriate enough to mention your names in it without you guys knowing in advance what it was about or that. But yeah, Joe Smith's got a lot of really neat friends and cool supporters and that on YouTube here, and Joe Smith's grateful of those people. Okay, second item up here, Papa Bear. Know you've been in Las Vegas a long time. Probably forget what the woods looked like. That's what the woods looked like. Maybe your new home in Montana would look like this. But yes, this is the woods by Joe Smith's house. Joe Smith lives up in the Ozark mountain range of the southern Midwest, north-south, whatever you call it. Near the Mason-Dixon line, kind of. Civil War battles fought around here. Big Civil War military park, just a few miles from here. Just down the road, in fact, down the valley. Used to be Civil War camp. It's got a marker sign in that, so all over the area here you can find marker signs talking about Civil War camps or Civil War battles and that. There's even a famous cave around here. Well, not too famous, it's kind of hidden and most people nowadays don't know about it, but it was used in the Civil War to hide arms and ammunition and that. It's kind of collapsed somewhat, or they got the entrance blocked off nowadays, but Joe Smith's been by and found it before. But real kind of cool area around here to check out if you're ever traveling. Like Joe Smith mentioned in another video, Walmart home office. Walmart started here. Tyson Chicken home office this year. JB Hunt Trucking home office this year. Just about any company that sells products through Walmart has offices around this area, so it kind of grew really super fast over the last 20 years. But at the same time, there's still a lot of hills, a lot of mountains, even some wild bears roaming in the woods. But overall, just kind of nice scenic area. A lot of mountain bike trails now. Past few years, they did a lot of couple 100 miles of new mountain bike trails around here. A lot of hiking trails, camping areas. Okay, next item up for mention here. As some of you remember, had the government shutdown a while back, and just some afterthoughts on that. Joe Smith usually tries to stay away from politics, but Joe Smith's heard some stories lately that just kind of really upset Joe Smith, and maybe maybe some people in the government or some agencies for that aren't what you might think. They aren't doing what they should be doing, and Joe Smith thinks that there's some crookedness or that. But during the shutdown, of course, government employees weren't getting paid at the moment anyways. A lot of them were still showing up to work. Some of them weren't showing up to work. Some of them quit their jobs, abandoned their jobs, called in sick, took vacation time, just didn't show up and went and made $100 for that day through the temp agency. Well, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. Joe Smith's not faulting anyone for doing that. The government did pay everyone their back wages after the shutdown ended. What Joe Smith thinks is good that Trump did that and the government did that. So Joe Smith said, yes, good job for paying everyone back wages. But some are arguing now because the guy that showed up to his government job as a TSA agent or whatever, worked all day long for the government and later was paid for that day, but then his co-worker didn't show up that day, went and worked somewhere else for $100 for that day, and was still paid by the government for that day. And some are saying, well, that's not fair. This guy actually showed up to his job and did the job, and yes, was later paid or reimbursed by the government. But this other guy didn't show up, went to work somewhere else, and was still paid the full amount by the government. Some are saying that's unfair. I mean, Joe Smith is supplying the government for paying everyone for what they were scheduled, whether they work or not. So maybe that's for another debate. But at the same time, there's some people that never got paid, that did work, that did show up to work and never got paid. If you were a contractor or a subcontractor for the government or a subcontract 1099 employee for the government, you never got paid. You never got reimbursed. And those were the people that were there every day doing their job, doing their contract that they were contracted to do. Those were the people that are showing up. Those were the people that could have went and took contract with someone else, or could have done jobs for another customer and made money and got paid and had money for their bills and paid their employees. Well, government never paid them their invoices. Government cheated all those self-employed individuals, those subcontract employees, those small businesses out of their pay, their earnings, their wages. And a lot of these people bought like supplies or materials out of their own pocket for the job they're doing for the government. Maybe they're doing some electrical or plumbing repairs or remodel or something. They bought those supplies, those material goods, those items from their own pocket. And the government never reimbursed them for the material goods, the supplies that they purchased from their own pocket, or for their time, or for their employees' time. And now a lot of them are filing bankruptcy. They've defaulted on credit cards. They defaulted with their line of credit at the bank. They're struggling to pay their employees. They've had their trucks repoed. And now it gets even worse. Ones that had to just give their employees partial payment for the jobs the employees did for the government, and then wait till they do another job to have money to finish paying them. Well, the government's, the Department of Labor, Federal Government Department of Labor, Joe Smith heard, is going after those companies and finding them and taking legal action and suing them. So the federal government did not pay this subcontractor. The subcontractor, therefore, did not have the money to pay his employees on time. So the federal government is now finding the subcontractor and suing the subcontractor. I'm going to talk about the biggest pile of cow poop Joe Smith ever heard of. That's just like really messed up. Especially when people that were working for other companies at the time got paid and got reimbursed, which Joe Smith thinks the government went above and beyond on them, but now government's taking out and punishing and screwing other people out of their wages and their earnings and their income, and not reimbursing them for supplies that they bought. Light fixtures that are now installed in the Pentagon or other buildings, government buildings. Those people did not get paid for their time doing that, or for the items that are now installed in those government buildings. And some of them are now getting sued by the government on top of it for not having the money to pay their bills or their employees after the government screwed them. So Joe Smith and I met some people here recently and I've been hearing stories, and it's just anger Joe Smith. That's why we need the Second Amendment. That's why Joe Smith is a 2A guy. Because the government is getting to the point of being out of control, and maybe the next administration things will change or something, but and here at the same time, Trump's rallying, Trump's wanting to attack General Motors for closing down plants in Ohio and laying off employees, and Trump is whining about West Virginia coal miners not having coal mining jobs, and Trump is whining about this and that and these people here and there. But at the same time, Trump is shipping in, I think Joe Smith read like 80 Mexicans on H-2B work visas this year and last year. In fact, both years, Trump made an executive order to increase the cap, or to double or triple the cap, to allow more workers to be brought in, because the cap was met before his application was filed or processed. So he made an executive order to increase the cap, and a year ago, or 2 years ago, in fact, he made the executive order to increase the cap, Trump did, and 3 days later he filed his application or petition for 80 Mexicans who come in and work $10 an hour jobs or $12 an hour jobs, cutting grass, mowing lawns at his golf course, Mar-a-Lago, waiting tables, cleaning hotel rooms, cooking food. And this is a place where plates are what, 50 bucks, 100 bucks a meal, probably. Plus it costs what, 50, 100 bucks, 200 bucks maybe, I don't know. Play a round golf there. Hotel rooms are probably 2, 3, 4, 500 bucks a night. Joe Smith thinks that Trump would have plenty of money to pay people more than $10 or $12 an hour. I mean, after all, how often does Trump advertise he's a billionaire? And Trump can't even pay the going rate of $15 an hour in that area for those jobs. And it has to ship in all these, bust in all these migrant workers from Mexico. At the same time, he's talking about all the immigration stuff and close the borders. Yes, Trump wants to close the borders so his competition can't get employees. And that way he gets all the employees. And then he can charge more for his place and make more money. Force his competition after he closes down, and that way he can buy out his competition. So, Joe Smith has another topic to mention or rant about here later on or a different day that Joe Smith's also upset about, but Joe Smith tries to keep his video short, but looks like this one's going on for almost 20 minutes now. And Joe Smith, even though everyone says to make it big on YouTube, you gotta do at least 10-minute videos, every video, this and that, but Joe Smith's not trying to be like PewDiePie and nothing like that. Joe Smith don't care if he's got 100 million subscribers, because then Joe Smith won't have time to reply to his subscribers and talk to people and be friends with all his subscribers. And Joe Smith kind of really appreciates a few subscribers he's got and the gifts that they send Joe Smith. So Joe Smith's heart goes out to you heroes for helping Joe Smith and encouraging Joe Smith and supporting Joe Smith. Joe Smith knows he's a little different. He knows he's not Jeopardy smart like that guy making millions of dollars right now on Jeopardy. Joe Smith knows he's not book smart. Joe Smith never finished high school, but Joe Smith's been working construction and shop all his life, grew up doing it, and so Joe Smith knows a thing or two about tools and fixing stuff, and Joe Smith learned how to, on his own, learn how to rebuild engines and transmissions, and is starting to do some automotive body and paint and rebuilt hydraulic cylinders and gearboxes and pumps, and so what Joe Smith lacks in one area, Joe Smith makes up in another area. If you got something that needs fixed, Joe Smith can probably figure it out. Joe Smith's framed houses before, done concrete, roofing, some plumbing, electrical, automotive, small engine, woodworking, Joe Smith's dad used to do antique furniture restoration growing up in Iowa. And it's a little workshop. Plus, Joe Smith's dad was a maintenance guy at the local school. So Joe Smith used to hang out with them after classes at the school and watch them fix stuff or give Dad a hand fixing stuff around the school. That's kind of how Joe Smith got started in the kind of work he does, and some of you might know, or Joe Smith mentioned to a few people that years and years ago, Joe Smith did some work at a bike shop and was a bicycle mechanic too for a little while before Joe Smith started learning about small engine repairs and automotive repairs and transferred into that. But that's why Joe Smith keeps bugging the bear about Park Tools, Park brand tools. They're a specialty bicycle tool company from Minnesota, like Minneapolis, Joe Smith thinks. They're the biggest bicycle tool manufacturer that's out there. They're kind of like the Snap-on tool of the bicycle world, but only they don't cost a fortune like Snap-on does. Joe Smith might even show off some of his Park tools here. That's how Joe Smith and the bear started talking, because Joe Smith emailed the bear and was teasing the bear. It's like, hey, Joe Smith has got some tools here that Joe Smith don't think the bear knows what they are, and Joe Smith's going to stump the tool bear. Let's play Stump the Tool Bear. See if the tool bear knows what tools Joe Smith has here. And Joe Smith sent pictures of some automotive tools and some other tools, and then some bike tools too. And the bike tools stumped the bear. Okay, well, thank you everyone for listening that did watch. And sorry, Joe Smith's just kind of upset today and need to do a little venting here. If you want, you can comment below. You don't have to. Like Joe Smith said, it's just kind of off-topic video, and Joe Smith's going to put it in the description. You don't have to watch it if you don't want, because it's just off-topic rant. But those of you who did watch, Joe Smith thanks you, and thanks you for all your support, and keep doing the good things that you guys are doing. Or like the bear says, shine on. But it's Joe Smith, sign out.